You dealing with a toxic relationship, y'all whoop each other ass. I done seen her whoop his.
After many months of Diddy being dragged through the mud for assaulting Cassie, the new word on the street is that even Cassie put her hands on Diddy and is not necessarily innocent. Now that this new revelation, people are asking if the story Cassie told us is just a one-sided story alienating Diddy or a toxic mess on both ends. But we've got the full gist. Let's break it down. The alleged video. Back in May 2024, CNN dropped a 2016 surveillance video showing Diddy straight up wilding on Cassie in a hotel hallway. This footage, which hit the internet on May 17, 2024, shows some disturbing scenes at the Intercontinental Hotel in Century City, Los Angeles. The video catches Diddy, only rocking a towel, grabbing, pushing, dragging, and kicking Cassie while she's trying to bounce with a duffel bag. This video dropping had immediate consequences. Diddy hopped on the gram with a video statement that same day saying,
"My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. I had to go into therapy. I'm going to rehab."
This public "my bad" came after years of allegations and after Cassie filed that lawsuit in November 2023, which spilled all the tea about years of physical and sexual abuse. Mad suspicious that the lawsuit got settled just one day after filing, making everybody in the industry and beyond raise their eyebrows. Cassie finally broke her silence after the video dropped on May 23, 2024, with an Instagram post where she showed love to her supporters and talked about how domestic violence impacted her life. She was big grateful for those who created a safe space for my younger self to settle into and feel protected by the light instead of shadowed by darkness. In her statement, Cassie stressed that domestic violence was the issue, noting that it broke her down, but keeping it real with, "I'm better today, but I will always be recovering from my past." She was telling folks to believe victims the first time, highlighting how much courage it takes to speak up when you're powerless. Now, about these claims that Cassie was putting hands on Diddy too, they mainly come from Chopper, a former bad boy artist whose government name is Kevin Barnes, also known as Young City. Homie was part of Diddy's group Day Band from that MTV show, Making the Band 2. In an interview from January 2025, Chopper claimed that the abuse between Diddy and Cassie went both ways, suggesting Cassie was throwing them hands at Diddy too. This claim is totally different from what Cassie's been saying publicly about Diddy's abuse, including that 2016 hotel incident caught on camera. Looking closer at this claim, Chopper's statements appeared in a YouTube video titled, "Chopper reveals he saw Diddy take Cassie from Ryan Leslie and says Diddy and Cassie abuse went both ways," which dropped on January 11, 2025. The title makes it sound like Chopper was saying the abuse was mutual, suggesting Cassie was getting physical with Diddy too. In another YouTube video titled, "Bad Boy Artist Chopper says Cassie B3 add up Diddy 2, worked with liquor company to take Diddy down," Chopper put more sauce on these claims. In this video, Chopper describes their relationship as deeply problematic, saying,
"I thought it was toxic."
Very toxic relationship.
Yes, it was, no matter how it sounds. But what you say and do can be used against you in a court of celebrity.
When asked directly if he ever witnessed altercations between them, Chopper confirms.
Did you ever see them ever get into any altercations ever?
Yes, a lot.
Damn.
And I can say that she triggered him a lot.
But the most shocking part of Chopper's interview comes when he discusses having witnessed mutual physical confrontations.
You dealing with a toxic relationship, y'all whoop each other ass. I done seen her whoop his ass kind of just like that. So I don't know how to pinpoint that. It's like I'm in the middle of just watching two people whoop each other ass, and the only thing that mattered was the one that what he done.
But check it. Chopper's claims ain't got no independent receipts, and they're mad different from the documented evidence of Diddy's actions toward Cassie. That 2016 surveillance video provides actual proof of Diddy's physical abuse, while no such evidence has popped up supporting claims that Cassie was hands-on with Diddy. The difference in evidence is major when you're trying to figure out who's keeping it 100. Cassie's allegations have video proof and legal documents backing them, while Chopper's claims are basically just his word without anybody else or any physical evidence to back it up. All this controversy is happening while Diddy's dealing with hella legal troubles. He's facing over 63 civil lawsuits claiming all kinds of foul behavior, including sexual assault, trafficking, drugging people, and physical abuse. These lawsuits involve more than 100 individuals with claims going all the way back to 1991. Plus, Diddy got indicted in September 2024 on federal charges, including racketeering conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. The feds say he was running a criminal enterprise with all kinds of coercion and abuse. He's pleaded not guilty and is locked up in Brooklyn, with his trial going down as of May 2025. These allegations and all the legal battles are mad serious. They're not just about Diddy and the people directly involved, they're making everybody in the entertainment industry have conversations about power dynamics, accountability, and getting justice. As of May 14, 2025, Sean Diddy Combs' trial is still going with key testimonies from witnesses including Cassie Ventura, who's been giving detailed accounts of what went down during their relationship. The trial and Cassie's testimony. Diddy's charges ain't no joke. Diddy's looking at potential life in the pen if convicted. His legal squad is going hard on defense, denying everything and arguing that Diddy's swinger lifestyle doesn't mean he was committing crimes. They've also filed motions trying to get parts of the indictment thrown out, claiming racial targeting. As of May 14, 2025, we're still in the early stages of the trial, with Cassie Ventura's testimony being the main event. Reporters in the courtroom say her testimony has been emotional, detailed, and delivered with surprising composure, considering how heavy the content is. Prosecutors have been painting a picture of Diddy that's shocking the courtroom with graphic details about the alleged freak-offs and the level of degradation involved. Cassie, visibly pregnant during her testimony, was rubbing her belly throughout as she spilled all the tea about her experiences. Her husband, Alex Fine, was in the courtroom holding her down, though the defense has said they might call him as a witness to impeach him, which could limit him being there for future testimony. Cassie's testimony started with how their relationship began, when she got signed to Bad Boy Records in 2006 at just 19 years old. She broke down how what started as a professional relationship turned romantic, and how Diddy gradually started controlling every aspect of her life. One of the most wild parts of her testimony was describing how Diddy allegedly ran her whole existence. She testified that control was everything, from her career to her appearance, including clothes, hair, and nails, and her daily moves. This control was possible because of his major influence over her career opportunities, making her feel trapped and unable to say no to his demands. Cassie testified that Diddy controlled where she lived, making sure she was always within walking distance or a quick drive from him. He paid her rent at almost every crib she lived in. If she wasn't answering his calls or texts, he'd send his security team to track her down. A big chunk of Cassie's testimony detailed what she called freak-offs, sexual encounters Diddy orchestrated involving multiple participants, including male escorts. These events allegedly went down nearly weekly for years, lasting from 36 hours to 4 days, sometimes without sleep. She described being forced into participating, feeling she couldn't say no because of Diddy's control over her career and his threats to leak video recordings of the events. Cassie detailed how Diddy directed these events, controlling everything from the lighting to the acts performed. She described feeling disgusting, humiliated, and worthless during these encounters, using drugs to check out mentally. The prosecution showed text messages where before a freak-off, she is texting Combs, asking, "Which colored pill do I take from your Louis Vuitton med bag?" And he directed her which one to take. Cassie testified that Diddy recorded the freak-offs early on, first on video cameras and later on devices, and used these recordings to blackmail her when he was in his feelings. She tried to delete her copies because they were humiliating and asked Diddy to delete his, but the threat of them leaking was always hanging over her head. Her testimony also included mad details about physical abuse. She described incidents where Diddy would knock her down, drag her, kick her, and stomp on her head if she was on the ground, leaving her with black eyes and bruises. She said the beatings were too many to count, and she often froze up out of fear, not fighting back when he was putting hands on her. One specific incident she highlighted in her testimony was the 2016 altercation at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, which was caught on the surveillance footage CNN released. Cassie testified that she was in a freak-off with Diddy and an escort just a couple of days before her first big movie premiere, and Diddy gave her a black eye. She tried to bounce while Diddy was in the shower, which led to the assault caught on video. The prosecution has shown this video multiple times during the trial, using it as evidence of the physical violence that they claim was used to coerce Cassie. When asked if there were times when she tried to fight back when Diddy would hit her, Cassie simply replied, "No." Backing up Cassie's testimony, other witnesses have also taken the stand, including Israel Flores, an LAPD officer who worked security at the Intercontinental Hotel in 2016. He testified about responding to the 2016 incident, describing Diddy's devilish stare and saying the cash left at the scene looked like a bribe attempt. Another key witness has been Daniel Phillip, a 41-year-old former male escort and manager of a male review show in Manhattan. His testimony, given on May 12th and 13th, 2025, provided firsthand details of the freak-offs, as he described. He stated that between 2012 and 2014, he was paid by Cassie to have with her while Diddy watched and sometimes directed, with payments ranging from $700 to $6,000. Phillips' testimony also included accounts of witnessing Diddy physically abusing Cassie, such as throwing a glass bottle, hitting her, and dragging her by her hair, which supports the prosecution's claims of coercion and violence. He mentioned hearing slapping sounds and Cassie screaming, I'm sorry," during one incident, showing she was in serious distress. During cross-examination, defense attorney Xavier Donaldson tried to discredit Phillips' testimony. The defense focused on his background as a manager of male strippers and the circumstances of his first meeting with Cassie, suggesting everything was consensual. Despite these efforts, Phillips stuck to his story, maintaining that the encounters involve coercion and abuse. The defense hasn't presented their full case yet, since the trial is still in the early stages, but they've already started challenging the prosecution's narrative through cross-examination of witnesses.
Now, Diddy's team came real quick on their opening statements and said, look, and I thought their opening statements, to be honest with y'all, were weak. Diddy's team. I thought, okay, all they did was own up to everything. They're like, look, he was angry. He can't control his anger. He, might have abused drugs and been a horrible boyfriend.
Diddy's lawyers are arguing that the relationships were consensual, part of a swinger lifestyle, and not criminal. They're especially trying to separate what they call domestic violence, which they don't deny happened, from the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering.
Y'all gonna hear text messages and audios that make him sound like a horrible person, and that he may have been. All of the most horrible things you could think about him when it comes to how he dealt with the women in his life, he's owning up to it. But when it comes to these charges, one thing has nothing to do with the other.
An interesting part of this case is how it connects to the long-term relationship between Cassie and Diddy. Their romance reportedly started around 2007 after Cassie got signed to Bad Boy Records and lasted until 2018. During this time, Cassie's music career seemed to take a back seat to their relationship. In a 2017 interview with Hot 97, when asked about how her music had been affected by being known mainly as Diddy's girlfriend, Cassie acknowledged, "It was difficult to navigate it for a little while, just because people automatically at this point now just don't associate me with music anymore all the time." Since bouncing from her relationship with Diddy, Cassie found happiness with personal trainer Alex Fine. The couple met in 2018, announced they had a bun in the oven in June 2019, and tied the knot in September 2019. They now have 2 daughters, Frankie, born December 2019, and Sunny, born March 2021. After that 2016 assault video dropped in May 2024, Alex wrote an open letter speaking up for victims of domestic violence, stating, "I want my kids and every kid to live in a world that's safe for women and girls, protects them, and treats them as equals. Men who hit women aren't men. Men who enable it and protect these people aren't men." As Cassie keeps dropping bombs in her testimony, we're expecting to hear more details about the nature of their relationship and the alleged abuse. The prosecution plans to call more witnesses, potentially including other accusers, referred to as Victim 2 and Victim 4 in court documents, and supporting witnesses like friends of Cassie who might back up her allegations. One interesting twist in the trial is the absence of a witness referred to as Victim 3, a key accuser who had promised to testify but is currently MIA. This absence might give the defense grounds to ask for a mistrial or delay, which could affect how the trial plays out. The broader context and implications. Sean Diddy Combs is facing a legal nightmare right now. Beyond the criminal charges in the current trial, he's dealing with over 63 civil lawsuits from more than 100 accusers, with allegations ranging from sexual assault to sex trafficking, drugging people, and physical abuse. These claims go back decades, all the way to 1991, painting a disturbing picture of alleged systematic foul behavior. The flood of lawsuits was partly made possible by New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Act, which allowed for previously time-barred claims to be filed. This resulted in 10 new lawsuits on February 28, 2025, adding to the mountain of legal pressure on the music mogul. Among these civil cases, Cassie Ventura's lawsuit stands out as particularly significant. Filed on November 16, 2023, under New York's Adult Survivors Act, her lawsuit alleged physical abuse and being forced into sexual encounters termed freak-offs during their relationship from 2007 to 2018. The lawsuit was settled for an undisclosed amount the very next day, raising mad questions about the terms and why it was resolved so quickly. Other notable cases include a lawsuit filed by music producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones Jr. in February 2024, accusing Diddy of sexual harassment, assault, and operating a RICO enterprise involving illegal activities. While some claims in this lawsuit, like RICO and emotional distress, were dismissed, assault allegations are still being fought in court. In December 2023, a woman filed a lawsuit alleging that she was gang and trafficked by Diddy and his associate Harve Pierre in 2003 when she was just 17. The lawsuit claimed she was given drugs and alcohol and assaulted at a recording studio. Additional lawsuits include one from Dawn Richard, a former member of Danity Kane, who sued Diddy in September 2024, alleging groping, assault, and threats. There's also a lawsuit filed by Grace O'Marte in April 2024, accusing Diddy's son, Christian Combs, of drugging and sexually assaulting her on a yacht in December 2022, with Diddy named as a defendant for allegedly enabling the environment. The federal criminal charges against Diddy stem from an indictment filed in September 2024 after he got locked up in New York City. The charges include racketeering conspiracy, alleging that Diddy ran a criminal enterprise since at least 2008 involving coercion, abuse, and silencing victims through blackmail and violence, 2 counts of sex trafficking, accusing Diddy of forcing individuals into activities, including freak-offs through coercion and drugs, and 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution related to facilitating illegal activities across state lines. The indictment alleges all kinds of criminal activities, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Diddy pleaded not guilty to all charges and is facing potential life for the racketeering charge, with a minimum of 15 years for sex trafficking and up to 10 years for the prostitution-related charges. The federal investigation that led to these charges heated up with raids on Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami cribs on March 25, 2024, conducted by Homeland Security. They found firearms and seized cell phones during these raids. Diddy's associate Brendan Paul got locked up for drug possession during the raids. Currently, Diddy is being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a facility known for its rough conditions. His bail was denied twice, with prosecutors saying he's a serious flight risk. His legal team has been trying to get him released, pointing to the jail's horrific conditions, but these requests have been shut down. Adding to his problems, Diddy's been accused of violating prison rules by trying to contact potential witnesses, with prosecutors claiming he's been trying to corruptly influence witness testimony. The current trial, going down at the Daniel Patrick Moynihan Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, is expected to last about 8 weeks. Diddy turned down a plea deal, choosing to go to trial and maintain his innocence. His defense team, led by attorney Brian Steele, has been trying to discredit witness accounts by highlighting inconsistencies and arguing that everything was consensual. Beyond the specific allegations and legal proceedings, this case raises bigger questions about power dynamics in the entertainment industry, especially regarding how women and vulnerable individuals get treated. The allegations against Diddy are part of a larger pattern of reckonings within the industry, where high-profile figures have been increasingly called out for alleged misconduct. The use of legal mechanisms like New York's Adult Survivors Act and Gender-Motivated Violence Act has enabled accusers to bring forward claims that might otherwise have been time-barred, contributing to the volume of lawsuits. As the trial continues, additional witnesses are expected to testify, including other accusers and supporting witnesses. The prosecution's case is anticipated to last about 3 weeks, followed by the defense case, which might take around 1 week. The complexity of the charges, particularly the racketeering allegation, requires establishing a pattern of criminal activity, making the testimony of multiple witnesses crucial to the prosecution's strategy. The defense's approach so far has focused on questioning the credibility of witnesses and arguing that while some behavior might have been inappropriate, it wasn't criminal. They particularly emphasize distinguishing between what they characterize as domestic violence and the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. One significant challenge for the prosecution might be the absence of victim 3, a key witness who had pledged to testify but is currently MIA. This could potentially give the defense grounds to seek a mistrial or delay, impacting the progression and outcome of the trial. Beyond the immediate participants, this case has implications for how society addresses allegations of abuse, particularly in situations with major power imbalances. The entertainment industry has been dealing with these issues more openly in recent years, and the outcome of this high-profile case could influence how such matters are approached in the future. For victims of domestic violence and abuse, cases like this can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, seeing big names held accountable can validate their experiences and encourage them to seek help or justice. On the other hand, the intense scrutiny and sometimes hostile questioning that accusers face can reinforce fears about coming forward. Mental health professionals have noted that the graphic nature of the 2016 video and the detailed allegations in this case can be triggering for survivors of abuse, highlighting the need for sensitivity when reporting on such matters. One particularly disturbing element of Cassie's testimony involves the alleged use of recording devices during freak-offs and subsequent threats of blackmail. She testified that Diddy used these recordings as leverage when he was in his feelings, highlighting how technology can be weaponized in abusive relationships to maintain control through fear and intimidation. The presence of enablers and yes men is another issue raised by this case. Cassie's testimony suggests that Diddy's staff and security team helped maintain his control over her, raising questions about the responsibility of those who might witness or indirectly support abusive behavior. The prosecution's framing of Diddy's operation as a criminal enterprise emphasizes this aspect, suggesting that a network of individuals contributed to the alleged pattern of abuse and exploitation. Looking ahead, several factors could influence how this trial plays out. The credibility and consistency of witness testimony will be crucial, particularly given the defense's strategy of highlighting inconsistencies and suggesting consensual arrangements. The legal definitions of sex trafficking and racketeering will also be key, as the prosecution must establish not just that abuse occurred, but that it fits the specific elements of these federal crimes. Thank you for tuning in to this in-depth breakdown. If you enjoyed this video, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.